I'm one of the co-founders of Blockchain Development Company, or BCDC as we like to call it.
How did this project start? What was the kind of driver for the beginning of it?
There was a few of us in the team who had been into blockchain, which originally started with Bitcoin, and we seen a lot of financial tech platforms that were being built, and there was a lot of coverage of it. But what there seemed to be missing was use cases for blockchain now, not in 18 months when these platforms were built. And we studied over a period of about 6 to 12 months and realized that utilizing the smart contracts on Ethereum, we could help environmental and humanitarian issues.
Do you have an interest in environmental issues? Why did you choose that niche?
I suppose it comes from people need to take ownership of the world that we live in today. I know there's quite a lot of controversy with regards to climate change and environmental problems, but unless people actually start to take action, nothing will get done. So we decided that we could utilize blockchain tech to have a positive effect.
And why did you choose to build the projects on blockchain technology specifically?
From our project base, it gave us the ability to have accountability and a means of incentivizing different demographics of the people who will use our platforms. And they'll range from the everyday recycler through to people who want to access renewable energy investments.
And how does blockchain enable accountability and trust, in your opinion?
When it comes down to, I suppose, if we use our Ecochain platform, it allows people to invest but have protection. It's like traditional escrow, where money is kept by in smart contracts and only is drip fed out to certain projects when they meet certain milestones. So in that use case, it gives us the ability to not only allow global investors to crowdfund investment projects in these, but it also lets everyone know where the money is and where it's going and why and at what time.
And can you briefly talk about the team and their prior experience?
The team, we realised that a lot of the projects out there had great tech teams, but they didn't really have much business experience. So what we did was we put together a top management team who have probably 30, 40 years of business development and business growth experience, and that including startups all the way through to working with PLCs. We needed to ensure that there was an ability to start something from scratch and follow it all the way through to a mature, developed company. And that was severely lacking in the blockchain industry at the moment. Our development team consists of about 5 or 6 people. Our Chief Technical Officer has technology experience of more than 12 years. He has worked with open source technologies like Java, J2EE, and just over the last couple of years, he has been working with Ethereum. He's been a senior technical consultant at Signex Datamatics, as well as Wells Fargo, Cisco, and has worked with UNICEF. The team has great experience from back-end, front-end, and blockchain developers as well. We also brought together a team of project managers and supporters who have experience in this area.
You guys are launching several apps at the same time. Can you talk about them?
Yeah, certainly. I suppose our first Android application will be ready on Monday. Will be RecycleToCoin. Now, RecycleToCoin is an incentivized recycling scheme. We enable people to gain BCDC tokens in return for recycling plastic bottles and cans, and this helps towards obviously fighting plastic pollution. We also have teamed up with the Plastic Bank to have their supporters, they can donate their BCDC tokens to the Plastic Bank, and that will enable them to fight global poverty and plastic pollution all over the world.
So why don't we talk about Ecochain, which is your other app?
Ecochain is quite special. It's a platform which allows global crowdfunding of renewable energy projects, and that ranges from solar farms, floating solar farms, through to wind turbines and biomass projects. And this allows people to actually get a return on investment back directly from the renewable energy projects. Now, that return on investment is separate from BCDC. It's directly between the investor and the renewable project. But allowing them to access it and fund it with BCDC tokens, the investors' money only actually goes out to the projects once they've met specific milestones. So we actually protect investors' cash as well.
And what's the business model of the platform itself?
You have similar projects, crowdfunding projects for renewable energy. One of them is Lumo and another one is One Planet Crowd, which currently enables residents within the same country to crowdfund renewable projects. But obviously ours enables global investment.
And how does the Ecochain platform make money?
So the Ecochain platform makes money by having a management fee and a publishing fee. And that publishing fee would be from renewable energy projects who want to come on board. All those projects need to be pre-vetted, so any project which actually comes onto the Ecochain platform will be vetted financially and will also have their business plan vetted. That's not only by us, but that will be from independent environmental and financial experts. So any project that does get onto there will be as safe as we can possibly make it.
And what makes Ecochain different from other platforms?
And this would be the ability to get involved in crowdfunding projects all over the world, not just in their own country.
So what's the benefit of using Ecochain rather than investing in renewable projects directly?
The benefit of using Ecochain would be that you are investing alongside other investors, which gives you security in numbers. It also enables you to invest in any project globally, with the fact that you don't have to transfer currencies over to different regions of the world.
So what kind of investors is Ecochain for?
Ecochain as a platform allows investors from the everyday person all the way up to institutional investors to crowdfund renewable projects which might not have a chance to get funding through traditional means.
And do you have a prototype for the platform or an MVP?
Yeah, the website and the platform will be live in about a week and a half before our main token sale begins.
And what kind of partnerships do you have already for the Ecochain project?
So we have a partnership with a finance company who have agreed to pre-fund to 50% any pre-vetted projects. So as long as the projects that come on board have been fully vetted from a financial and business plan point of view, they will pre-fund these projects up to 50%. So we already have that, and we are in talks with developers to add projects over the next couple of weeks and over the next couple of years following that after our token sale.
And do you have some renewable energy projects already lined up for the platform?
Yeah, we do have renewable energy projects lined up just now, but we're still in talks with them, and we sadly can't mention any names at the moment, but we have about 5 or 6 projects already lined up in several different countries.
So you've gotten some media features recently. What are they?
Yes, we've been quite lucky because of the way we are launching platforms before our token sale. There's been general interest from traditional investment media, and those media outlets are What Investment, Investment Europe, Global Banking and Finance Review magazine as well. We've also had a video featuring all of BCDC's upcoming projects, which was shown in the World Economic Forum.
So let's talk about investors. What kind of returns can they expect from the renewable energy projects themselves?
The returns that investors can expect are between 6 to 8%. And there will be projects that are on the Ecochain platform that will be fully insured from a loss of revenue point of view. and each of these projects will be clearly mapped on the actual platform itself. So even though they'll get 68% over a space of either 10, 15 or 20 years, depending on what renewable technology they have invested in, if there is the mark where each project has loss of revenue insurance, then if anything happened to the project, if there was really, really bad weather or there was a storm or something like that, then if there was any damage to it, then while the actual renewable project was rebuilt, they would have loss of revenue insurance, which would ensure that they would continue to get their return on investment.
So let's talk about the token economic structure.
Our tokens were designed and engineered to be utility and access tokens.
What is the distribution of the token like? For example, the percentages that go to the team, advisors for development, operations, etc.
There's an initial 1 billion token supply. Now, that token supply is actually split down into 4 areas. One area of those is a reserve token fund, which is put aside for our RecycleToCoin platform, which ensures the funding of it initially. Now, there is 250 million tokens within that. There is also 250 million tokens being put aside, which will ensure that anyone who buys our tokens and actually wants to hold on to them for a period of 1 to 5 years will be able to get an addition of 20% of their token amounts each year over that 5 years. So if someone was to buy, just for saying sake, 1,000 BCDC tokens and kept a hold of them for a year, then they would get an additional 200 tokens each year for 5 years. So if they kept a hold of their tokens for 5 years, then they would actually have an extra 100%. And the other part of the tokens is during the main sale and the pre-sale. We are having an initial allocation of 64 million tokens on the pre-sale and 125 million tokens on the main sale. So that is half the available tokens, and we are using the remaining tokens for future environmental and renewable projects. The founders and the technology team have an allocation of 50 million tokens out of the 1 billion tokens, but again, that's split in half. So the technology team would get 50% of that, and the founders get 50%. And basically what happens is the founders' actual tokens are locked down for a total of 3 years. So the founders won't actually get their first 50% of their tokens for a year. And then what will happen is 6 months later, another 25% will be released. And again, 6 months after that, another 25%. And then the last 6 months, the last 25%.
And what is the actual percentage of the tokens that is allocated to the team?
To the founders, it's 2.5%, and the tech team, it's 2.5% as well. There are another 5 or 6% of the tokens which we have used for marketing for our supporters who have helped with services, etc.
Can you talk about the vault and what that does for investors?
The token vault was an idea that we came about when we were getting asked questions from traditional investors who wanted to buy BCDC tokens, but really didn't know how to. Obviously, blockchain and digital currency at the moment is still quite, from a technological point of view, it's still, you need to know quite a lot, and that includes setting up digital wallets, which a lot of people either don't know how to or simply don't want to have the hassle of having to do it. So what we did is we came up with a concept of a token vault, the same kind of token vaults that you get within Coinbase or Bitpanda, etc., which enables people to actually just have an email address and be able to purchase tokens via bank transfer. And that means that the tokens are then stored within our token vault, which they can access through a traditional online login platform, something similar to what they log in every day in their email. And what happens is those tokens would be put in cold storage. So each investor would have to give us 24 hours notice to either move them into a traditional wallet when they become a little bit more user-friendly, shall we say. It just basically gives the normal everyday person as well as a traditional investor the chance to actually buy tokens, but don't need to have a technological know-how to actually set up a wallet. And right now, you need a lot of technological. So we've just basically simplified the process for everyone. From a purist point of view, from a blockchain purist point of view, it's not what the future is about, but we realise that in the meantime, you actually have to provide a solution which allows the everyday person to get involved. Otherwise, mainstream adoption is still going to be a long way away. And that was our main reason for the token vault. It's a midway solution to helping people adopt and use blockchain, cryptocurrencies and tokens.
And how secure is it?
It is very secure. It will have the same levels of two-factor authentication along the lines of Coinbase and everything else. And there'll be no tokens actually online. They'll be offline, so no hacker will be able to get them. They'll be stored in hardware wallets, which will then be stored in client accounts of either lawyers or accountants.